names have been changed to protect privacy. Hey babes, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's your girl Dyme LaShawn, and we back at it again. If this is your first time here, welcome. Come on in and grab a seat. This channel is all about improving the relationship you have with yourself, that journey from where you are now to where you want to be, and all of the little juicy, cute, interesting things in between. A little plastic surgery, a little chit chat, a little story time. If you already are a certified babe, aka someone who's already subscribed, then you already kind of know this about this channel, and you don't need to hear my mouth about it any further. So let's just go talk about the worst date ever. Okay, I've been on some questionable dates in my lifetime, but I was out of the game for a little bit and forgot just how questionable people can be. I ended up going on a date last year that was just so crazy to me that it must be shared with you guys. Okay, you guys know that I'm recently just on this dating journey, and you know, when you honey, you're gonna pick up some bees, you can pick up some flies, you will pick up a little bit of everything. So you know, I'm not surprised, but then I'm just kind of like also like, hello. Anyway, let's just go ahead and get right into it. So I went out on a date with this guy one day, y'all, last year, not too long ago, but long enough ago where I can talk about this. So whatever the case might be, I knew this guy from like different social media platforms. We knew a couple of the same people. We're from a small city, so you know, it's just kind of easy to intermix that way, and social media just makes small cities even smaller. We had communicated on social media a couple times and on different platforms, I think like Twitter and then like Instagram, but we had never had anything going on before. We had never had like any type of dating encounter. One day he ends up asking for my number. We exchanged numbers on social media, nothing crazy. And at one point, a couple of questionable things did occur, like nothing big, but just different things where I was like, I don't really know if I like shorty. Long story short, we ended up kicking it a couple times, and it was cool. You know, one time we had went to dinner and it was cool, and then another time we had went to have some hookah and drinks, and it was okay. It was cool, you know. So I wasn't really tripping, and I really wasn't looking for my husband at the time, so it was just kind of like, you know, it was a vibe. It wasn't nothing crazy. Hey, whatever. Anywho, the third date comes around, and this is where I want to share it with you guys. So after the two encounters that we had with each other, he ended up hitting me up like, yeah, I want to go out to dinner with you, and asking me my availability. Now, prior to asking me about this particular encounter, he had asked me to go on a couple, you know, dates with him to like a Wizard game. But for me, I just kind of feel like if I'm not serious with you and we're not dating seriously, I don't really want to go to large venues with someone that I'm not seriously dating, because me being somebody who knows a bunch of people in the city and a lot of people in the city know me, I don't really want my face connected to somebody that I'm not about to be with, because then it just looks like you just all over the place doing anything with anybody. Even if that's not the truth, that's what it looks like. For me, I'm okay with knowing what it is and not caring what it looks like to other people, but I'm not okay with allowing other people in on that, because then they can do whatever they want to do with that narrative, whether you agree or not. Like if somebody see you at a Wizard game or see you on a date with someone and it ain't nothing for real, y'all haven't decided what y'all doing, but that other person decides to run with it, they can run with it if they want. And I just don't allow people to, I'm not feeling that at this particular age. I want to move in intentionality, and you know, I want to keep it cute. So I had turned down the Wizards games, and then a lot of times I have my son a lot, so dating is just kind of like already like not really, my schedule ain't wide open. Anywho, this particular time he was like dinner. I was like, okay, dinner is doable. I don't have an issue with that. We decided to meet up at a restaurant that's pretty popular in my city. Cool. And yeah, I get dressed and I head out. Now look, the type of girl that I am, I don't have a lot of time, but you know, it ain't hard for me to find plans. I just thought like, okay, we can go to dinner. We can block off this amount of time for him, you know, about 3 hours, 3.5 hours to eat dinner, talk, you know, engage with each other, and then we'll see how the rest of the night went. But my best friends were also doing some other stuff, so I was just kind of like, okay, well, we'll see how the rest of the night goes, but I'll hang out with them a little bit later after we wrap up. Cool. I wasn't in any rush, but you know, how long we stayed on a date would depend on, you know, like what the vibe was given. Anywho, so we go to the restaurant. The restaurant's packed. It's like a super packed restaurant, and there was no reservation. That's issue number one. If you wanted to take me out, I understand, but there's no reservation, so it's not going to be the most comfortable environment. I'm cool with that, but not the best, right? But I was okay with it because my schedule wasn't solidified, so I kind of didn't give him like an honest answer, and this particular restaurant was like always booked, so cool. Give him a little, you know, give him a little pass. I sit at the bar because there was like one bar seat open, and when he arrives, you know, I was put our name on a list, kind of looking to see if anybody gets up from the bar. But when he arrives, he's sweating. So I'm like, why you sweating? You okay? And he's like, yeah, I don't know why I'm sweating. I think it was because my shower was hot, and you know, my body's still hot from that. And I'm just kind of like, okay, like doesn't really make sense to me, but hey. So like my initial thought was like, maybe he's on some type of drug or something. Like maybe he popped a perk, maybe he had a couple drinks or something before, you know, he left out the house, because it ain't no way you took a shower at least 30 minutes ago, because now you're at a restaurant dressed and ready, and you still sweating because of hot water in the shower. I just can't even believe that. And it wasn't even hot outside, so I'm just kind of like, unless you ran here on drugs or had a couple drinks, I just don't get it. Whatever the case might be, cool. I mean, I know I'm pretty hot, but I know I ain't making you sweat like that, like off the rip. Like that's just crazy. So anywho, a chair is opening, and he sits down next to me. We order drinks, and I order what I want, he order what he wants. We're having a couple sips, and we're just kind of like, yeah, so like what's going on, you know, just a little regular little chit chat that you have with somebody when you first sit down with them. And we're talking about the table situation, how, you know, super booked, there might not be any availability, all the rest of that. Okay, cool. So I'm like, yeah, you want some appetizers? He's like, yeah, let's order some appetizers. So I'm like, all right, bet. The bartender gives us a menu. We're looking at the menu. No, it was like the scannable menus, the QR codes. So we're looking at the menu on our phones, and I'm like, ooh, I think I want that. I'm in the mood for some raw food. Mind you, this is like a Japanese like steakhouse, so or like a Japanese like type of spot. So they have like, you know, your sashimis, your raw type of preparations, like your different stuff like that. So I really enjoy that type of stuff. So I'm ordering. I'm like, oh, how are the tacos? He's like, oh, I've had the tacos before, and the tacos were like a sashimi type of deal, like a you know when they chop the raw food up and they let you like dip it out? It was like one of those deals. I can't remember the specific name for it. Hopefully it comes to me. But inside of a taco, inside of like a potato chip type of taco. That's up my alley. So I'm like, oh, I want that. So I'm ordering, and they're all a la carte, which is fine. You can kind of like tailor what you want. And I'm like, what are you gonna get? He's like, well, I had one of these before. One of them is cooked though. Are the rest of these raw? And so I asked the waiter, because I had asked the bartender to send me a waiter, and the waiter came over, and I said, are these raw? And he's like, yeah, they're raw. And I was like, okay, that's fine for me, because I like raw food. And I look at him, I'm like, do you like raw food? And he's like, not really. I don't really like, you know, deal with raw food. Mind you, I had seen him eat oysters before, so you do like raw food, but like whatevs. Like I ain't gonna knick-knack on you right now. But I was like, okay, cool. So he's like, I had one of these before though. And I was like, and it wasn't raw? Because he's saying all of these are raw. He was like, I think maybe it might have been a crab. And I was like, okay. So whatever the case might be, he orders, and I'm like, are you sure? Because these are raw. Do you want these? He's like, yeah, I had one of them before. I think it was this one. I'm like, all right, cool. So we ordered 2 of each. One for me, one for him. He's been thoroughly explained. It has been thoroughly explained to him that these selections are raw. Okay, so the food comes or whatever, and he's looking at it, and he's like, why it look like that? So I'm like, look like what? And he's like, it's like, I don't really look that good. And I'm like, tartar. That's what I was looking for, the word tartar. It's like tartar type deal. So I'm like, you knew it was raw. And he's like, yeah, but I didn't know it was gonna look like that. I wanna send it back. So I'm like, being somebody who works in food service, like has worked in food service and still works in the customer service space, I don't like when something has been thoroughly explained to someone and someone who is trying to offer you customer service fully explain something to you, you opt in, and then when they bring it out, they go through the trouble putting an order in, getting it right, they bring it out to you, then the person say, no, I don't want it. Because now you're running the staff and they're here to make your experience amazing, but you also have to be competent enough to choose what you want in a way that doesn't ruin your own experience, right? Like let's just be fucking for real. So at this point, I'm kind of judging them. I'm in my head like, I'm like, if you don't want it, let's just send it back. I don't want you to have anything that you don't want, right? So I'm like, hi, sir, can you come over here? Yeah, he doesn't want this. You know, he thought it was gonna look different. It's not appetizing to him. Do you think that we could send it back? And the guy is irritated, rightfully so. But of course, I'm here with the man I'm here with. So I'm team him. So I'm like, yeah, he doesn't want it, whatever. So he's like, yeah, so what would you like to do? He's like, I'd like to send it back. And you know, they figure out whatever it is that he wants to do. So I'm like, for my tacos, you can leave them. I'm gonna eat them. They're amazing. But whatever you choose to send back, you can choose to send back. Okay, cool. I think he subbed it out for another app. Cool. So while we're waiting, I was like, why? I was like, you didn't like it? It looked nasty to you? And he was like, yeah, like it just was raw. I didn't know it was raw. I said, boy, I told you it was raw. You know, like kind of just joking, but kind of like trying to figure out like, what do we talk about here? Whatever the case might be, now the bartender and the guy who took our food orders, our bartender and the guy who took our food orders, they're just kind of going back and forth. They're at the POS system. And he's like, you know, talking about something, and I don't know what they're talking about because we can't hear him. We're in a loud restaurant. But the guy that I'm with says, let's just call him Kevin. Kevin says, I think that's your fault. And I said, come again? Like, what you mean? He's like, yeah, I think that they're arguing because of you. I was like, because of me? Why? What'd I do? And he's like, because you ordered with the waiter, but you were supposed to order with the bartender. So I think you messed the check up because now they have to split the tip, or now they have to figure out what's going on. I said, huh? And where'd you get that from? I was like, but how is that my fault? I asked the bartender to send me a waiter. Like, he sent that waiter and I put the food order in. I don't know where the miscommunication came from, but as a customer, I don't know how they're functioning here. So this is my first time here. Like, how was that my fault? So he's like, yeah, I just think it's your fault. He's real mad too. And I'm like, at this point, I'm like, is he joking? But he's dead ass, y'all. Like, he's trying to tell me that it's my fault that staff is arguing with each other. Why he's telling me that, I don't know. And I'm thinking in my head like, alrighty, sips tea. Like at this point, I'm like, let me have some more of my drink, because at this point, anyway, so we're just talking. You know, I try to switch the subject, change my own vibe, because I already know I can go to 0 to 75 in about half a second. So I was just kind of like, I was like, okay, cool. I was like, so, how was your day? Like, how was your time getting here? Whatever. And he's not really responding to me. He's just kind of looking at me like this. Like I'm a steak, okay? He's looking at me like, in his case, a well-done steak. He looking at me like he want to eat me. And there's levels to that, so I get it. But then I'm just kind of like, why are you looking at me like that, right? And just so you know, fun fact about me, I like charm, I like wit, I like innuendo. I do not like when people being raunchy on my time, because what about my face looks like I want you to be raunchy with me? Like, I am a lady. Have some level of something with you where you can use your words to be attractive and not raunchy. Because if I wanted raunchy, I would log on to Pornhub or something. That's not what I'm looking for if I'm out with a man enjoying male company. Like, let's keep it cute, not too much on me. So he's like, this is what he says, y'all. He says, I'm just picturing you naked. I I said, oh, you feeling spicy. Right, in response, because I don't want to be a butthole, but at the same time, I'm just kind of like, read the room. Did your brain tell you to say that? Like, did the little man in the back that normally tells you don't do drugs say that? Like, what's up? So whatever the case might be, I'm like, he was like, wait, was I not supposed to say that? I'm sorry, was that inappropriate? And I said, like, he's like feigning, like, he's like, oh, I'm sorry, was that inappropriate? Was I not supposed to say that? So I say, we'll monitor it, baby. It's no big deal. Still be my flirty, charming, bubbly self, right? Because if I'm here, might as well do it right, right? So he's like, wait, and gets kind of tense. And I'm like, wait, what? He like, can I ask you a question? I said, yeah, sure. What's the question? And he said, so like, are we not at that point where I can like initiate sex? No, where I could like initiate sexual comments, make sexual comments or initiate sex? I said, no, we're not at that point. He's like, oh. Like almost gives himself like a hug. So I'm like, are we having a disconnect? Like, what's going on? He's like, I mean, I don't know. I'm like, but you're acting weird now. So like, what's going on? He says, I just kind of feel like I like women that like me. And I just don't feel like you like me. And I'm like, why do you feel I don't like you? And he says, because your response to that question just kind of told me everything that I needed to know. I said, so because I don't want you to make raunchy sexual statements to me and different raunchy commentary to me, and I don't feel comfortable with you initiating sex with me on the 3rd date, I don't like you? And he's like, yeah. I said, well, let me ask you a question. What would tell you I liked you? I just don't feel like you give me that energy that you into me, you know, like, you know. I said, so what makes you feel most liked? And he's like, yeah, well, I feel like, you know. I said, better yet, how soon do women let you talk to them in that way? Mind you, I'm only a half a drink in. Like, I'm not drunk. He is a half a drink into. According to what I know, he's not drunk. So I'm trying to figure out, like, what type of disconnect are we having? And I said, how does this normally go for you? And he's like, well, most women let me talk to them and initiate sex on the 1st date. I said, oh, well, I love that for you, but I'm not that type of girl in this space in my life. I'm not looking for that type of experience. And that doesn't mean I don't like you. I have very limited time as a mother and as somebody who is extremely busy. I'm sharing my time with you. This is my most expensive currency right now. Not sex, but time. So if I'm sharing that with you and I'm getting to know you and I'm spending time with you when I could be anywhere else in the world, this is how I'm expressing my interest. And this is how I'm expressing my like for you. Okay? Oh, well, I guess. So I'm like, what is your deal, really? Because I don't want to have sex with you. Like, you have a problem? And he's just like this. I'm like, Kevin, literally, now it's weird. Like, what are we gonna do from this point on? Like, how are we going to progress from here? And he's like, I don't know. Like, what am I supposed to ask you? What are we supposed to talk about? Because now I'm uncomfortable. I'm like, what are you uncomfortable about? Nobody said anything to you that was rude or that was mean. What you uncomfortable about? And he's like, I mean, I just don't know. Like, I'm just like a snowball. And I was like, what are you talking about? And he's like, I'm just like a snowball. I'm like, explain the snowball thing. And he's like, well, I just kind of feel like, you know, I don't ever want to feel like I'm out of order or I'm inappropriate because I'm a snowball. Once I say one thing, I'm just going to want to keep going. And if you're already telling me that I'm inappropriate now, I just think that it's best that I just don't say anything. What? So what are you saying to me? Like, what are you saying to me? I mean, I just, you know, I don't want to get started and get myself excited and then I can't do what I want to do and you tell me no later. I just don't like being in those situations, and consent is very important to me. I know you fucking lying. I'm like, like, what are you talking about? Like, you can't have regular banter with me without being sexually excited and expecting to be able to penetrate me at the end of the day. Are you okay? So he's like, I mean, no, I'm just saying, like, I don't even want to be in that space. So I'm like, what? I said, okay, so what do you want to talk about then? Because now I'm irritated. And I'm like, what do you want to talk about then? Because I'm here, you got me here, you asked me to come, I'm here, I'm dressed, whatever. So what's up? Are we going to just sit here and you're going to be weird? You can continue to be weird? Or are we going to have some conversation? And he says, well, how's the weather? What'd you do today? Do you like race cars? That's what he asked me. I said, oh, the sarcasm. It's just ugly. I don't even understand what we're even doing right now. So he's like, I mean, I said, so let me ask you this. Do you like me? Yeah, I like you. I said, but you don't feel like I like you. No, I don't feel like you like me because you're telling me that I was inappropriate by making that comment to you. I said, just because I won't let you talk to me in a raunchy way doesn't mean I don't like you. I'm just not looking for that experience right now. Like, that's not what I'm looking for. Well, girls who like me normally let me talk to them that way. I said, that doesn't mean anything. A girl can be drunk and just want to get screwed and talk and let you talk to her however she want to talk to you. A girl could just want your coins and just let you talk to her how you want to talk because she wants to butter you up and then come up at some point. It doesn't mean that she like you. I'm trying to get to know you and see how much I truly like you. It's only date 3. It's only day 3. How are you expecting me to want to just jump in your bed with you and I'm getting to know you from blind? Like, what are you talking about? And he's like, I mean, just certain things. So let me ask you this. Do you want to be in a relationship with me? Like, you know, how much do you like me? I don't know. Certain things need to happen before I really truly know that. Y'all, I cannot make this up. I said, so you need to screw me before you know how much you like me. I mean, I don't want to say it like that. I said, baby, you don't got to say a thing because I already know what's going on. I said, so let me ask you this. Would you let me pick you up in the middle of the night in my car and take you on a ride? You don't know where you're going. You don't know what time you'll be back. You don't know who all gonna be in the car when you get in the car. You don't know if we're making any stops. You don't know nothing about the experience. But I just tell you to get in the car and come with me because you like me. Would you be okay with that? I mean, yeah, I'd be okay with that. I said, no, you wouldn't. I said, if I'm making stops and pulling over in the middle of the night and, you know, keep driving around in circles, you don't know what you're doing, eventually you're gonna ask me, where are we going? Are we going somewhere? Are we taking a joyride? Like, what are we doing? And he's like, okay, yeah, that's plausible. I can understand that. I said, right. I said, but if I just told you, just sit back, relax, I'm gonna decide where we going, just let me finish driving, then what would you say? He didn't say anything. I said, you would think I was batshit crazy. And that's what I'm basically likening that situation to right here. You want to sleep with me to be able to tell me the trajectory of what we're doing. That sounds ridiculous. You're supposed to know where you're going before you get in the car or have an idea about the address or the end result or the destination before you go pick anybody up. Why do you want me to just jump in the bed blindly with you so you could take me to wherever you want to take me if you're taking me anywhere? I mean, I guess you've made your point and that's fine, but I just still feel the way that I feel. Like, I'm a snowball. I don't even want to be caught in a situation where consent is hazy for me. I said, you sound rapey as hell. How would consent be hazy for you if I'm telling you I'm not ready to do that before anything happens? I said, you act like I pulled my pants down and I said, wait, no, stop. That's not what we're talking about. I'm just sitting here having a drink with you. Y'all, we didn't even make it to entrees. We didn't even make it to entrees, y'all. I'm over here talking to this crazy ass man about this particular subject over a half of a drink that I ain't even finished with a large ice cube in it, so it ain't even a full pour. And over some half-eaten appetizers that he done sent back because he said that they was raw even though he ordered them raw. Baby, I am fit to be tired. I'm like, let me finish this drink. He's like, I mean, I'm not trying to be, I said, he's like, are you good? I'm like, nope. He like, do you want to go? I said, yeah. He said, you don't have to wait for me to go. I said, you don't have to tell me that I don't gotta wait because I'm finishing my drink. I'm leaving with something, okay? Finished my drink, got up, left that man sitting at the bar. Y'all, I have never went on a date that wild before. Never. Like, and I'm not trying to be funny, but like, he wasn't my type to begin with, but it was just one of those things where I was like, he might be nice, he might be smart, he might have a lot of stuff to offer. You don't want to write nobody off because they don't look or they don't fit in whatever box you wanted them to fit into. But baby, this is why you don't deviate. This is why people don't deviate from what they know, because as soon as you try to like do something different, people start acting real crazy, real weird. Like, I hope I don't sound ridiculous, but that was, child, I said, that sounds very crazy. And I left, get in my car, I'm on my way to my friends, because mind you, I always got some alternate plans. I'm not wasting my minutes. I'm not squandering my minutes, okay? If I get an opportunity to go outside and be milfy, go outside and have an opportunity to just be an adult and not a mom, I am not squandering my minutes on nobody, okay? So you better get it while the getting is good. I'm in my car, I'm driving. I'm going to go meet my friends. This man proceeds to text me and says, I hope you found what you're looking for. Good luck. You need to look. You need a damn straitjacket. You're nuts. I said, you know what? This is the point of dating. To weed these people out. People are batshit crazy, y'all. I can't make it up. So, yeah, the dating experience has been interesting for me. I mean, I haven't really, you know, I'm gonna give y'all some more updates on my dating experience a little bit later, but that day was so funny. I just wanted to go ahead and share with y'all what has been y'all craziest date. Share it in the comments. I want to know. And also weigh in on this date. What do you think about that? And yeah, I hope to see you guys in the next one. See you later. Bye.